Okay, hey sports lovers, welcome again to another amazing episode of the Unlikely Triathlete. So we're doing a duo today. We're talking to a couple of young ladies who live down in Durban, South Africa. And it's a little bit of a family affair today. I've got to fess up right away. We're talking to Michaela Hardstone, who's my eldest daughter, and her bestie, I think, as you guys would call it, Celeste. Now, Michaela and Celeste are both chiropractic students at DUT, Durban University of Technology. And welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you for
Okay,
having us, Uncle Rob.
cool, man. So just so for clarification for those people that are watching as opposed to people that are listening, Michaela is the girl on the left in the black top, and Celeste obviously then would be the other one. So hey guys, so welcome to the show. So as you guys know, the Unlikely Triathlete is all about inspiring people, trying to get people off their couches and out on the road. Not necessarily to, I guess, hop in and start doing full distance Ironman races straight away, right? But it all starts somewhere. So I know you guys have got quite a bit of a history. You got your influence from somewhere, and then you picked up somewhere to maybe enter something, do a race, and we've grown from there. So now, Michaela, let's start with you.
All right.
Introduce yourself
Well,
first. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
a little bit about myself. I would not consider myself a very sporty person, as I'm sure you've said many times before. So in that aspect, I would consider myself unlikely. I didn't play any school sports. I was the drama nerd, music, all that kind of stuff. And then after school, obviously seeing you doing your Ironmans, all those things, and competing in triathlon, I was like, no, cool, let's do it. We started training at the swimming pool, outdoor swimming, running. I look back at it now. It actually popped up the other day, that first cycle that we did on Ananda Road. And I was like, oh my word, 25 kilometers. This is crazy, absolutely insane. And now, cycling anywhere from 60 to 90 kilometers, prepping for the 70.3. But yeah, so that was 2020. Never
Okay,
run.
yeah, that's cool. We're going to get back and we can talk a little bit about that 25Ks that just seemed insurmountable. And now all of a sudden it's just a warm up ride. And so, Celeste, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself and then tell us how you had the misfortune of hooking up with my oldest daughter, Michaela, and becoming besties, if that's what you guys term you guys use these days.
So, Michaela and I, well, personally, I've always lived in Durban. I grew up next to the ocean, so the ocean's quite familiar to me. I did play sports in school, but nothing as intense as triathlons. I basically did hockey and then up to about half of high school, and then I actually stopped. And our school was too far from where we lived, so playing sport became a very big problem time wise for my parents to pick us up from school and stuff. So I stopped playing sport, and I kind of stopped exercising as a whole. I did a little bit here and there, and that was it. Then comes university a few years later. I met Michaela over here, and I don't know, we just kicked it off. Never did I ever think that I would do a triathlon with her. I will not lie. She used to
Okay.
tell me, oh, I should get a bicycle. And I said to her, you are crazy. I am not riding a bicycle. I hate bicycles. As a child, I quite literally drove my bicycle into a swimming pool. And ever since then, I've had like quite a big fear of bicycles, actually. They make me very anxious.
Okay,
So,
that's brilliant.
yeah. And as that came, I don't know how she convinced me, but somehow with her motivation, I ended up buying a bicycle. And then here we are.
Yeah, I get that. She can be a pain in the butt, and in a certain way can be kind of influential. And we're going to touch on that as well because that's really, I think there's a lot of good key points there with you guys, which is really why I wanted to get you on the show because like we're just everyday people, right? And I want to let everyday people know that anyone and everyone can do this thing. We just got to get started somewhere. So Celeste, just out of interest, like I remember those days at school. Okay, I'm a generation further back. But I remember those days at school. There were lots of kids that were unable to get to sport for similar reasons to yourself. And for a lot of them, that was like, oh, shoo, I can get out of the PT session today, And others are like, damn, I really want to do something. So not to put you on the spot, but which kind of category did you fall into on that one?
So my dad was very competitive and he used to ride bikes. So we still did that. We had off roads and we did that. And I think because I was quite an anxious child, but my dad was very much an overachieving athlete. Um, he always pushed us, even if I didn't like it or even if I was anxious, we still did something. But
Yeah, that's good.
when
I
I
think
was
it's important to, especially with young kids to, or younger kids to, it's a fine line between encouraging and forcing, because we all know those mad men parents that are shouting and screaming at the sidelines or beating up the coaches because they haven't put their kid in the team side net. But it's all about participation and getting involved. So really, from a school point of view, you played a bit of hockey. I mean, that's quite hardcore. That people say it's a non-contact sport, but from what I've seen, especially the girls, they can get pretty rough out there. And so you left school. Okay, so here's the thing: never ask a woman her age. So how old are you girls? Michaela,
27.
Celeste.
and I am 29.
29. Okay, so 29, 27. Still quite young, really, I guess. 7 years
Very young.
now, I think, almost 7 years at varsity. Um, and I know that you've been, or Michaela specifically, more involved with the rugby aspect of things, which is also quite cool when you talk about a bit of the sport and stuff like that. So, Michaela, coming back to you, I remember from school days, you guys always took part in sport. We got you involved in the tennis club and we got you involved in swimming and all those kind of things. Now, with all the love in my heart, obviously, you guys were never naturally talented athletes, because if you were, you certainly, you didn't get it from me, because I was never a naturally talented athlete myself. But I had a mindset uh, advantage, I guess, because whether it's to do with the way I grew up or my childhood or something, but I had this mindset advantage that I just had this absolute defiance that I'm not going to stop and I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep going. I'll run till my eyes bleed. And maybe you guys got a little bit of that, or just give it a go. It doesn't matter if you come last. It doesn't matter if you're the slow one, the fast one, the tall one, the short one, the wide one, or whatever the case is. Just get involved. And it's all about enjoyment. And you're getting outside, you're getting fresh air, you're stimulating. It's all just really good for you. So now I know I always said, even if you're no good at, say, for example, tennis, go and play tennis. In your adult life, somewhere along the line, socially, you might hit a ball around. At least you don't look like a complete numpty. You might be able to hit a tennis ball. And that's kind of been my philosophy with most things, whether it's reading books or whatever the case may be. But always have a go at something and just have that general broad knowledge of everything. So you kind of fit in and you just become more of a socialite, if you like, for want of a better word. So you guys didn't do horribly at sport at school. Uh, you did all right. And I know, Michaela, you were at Thomas More College, which I went to as well as a young lad. And they had quite an interesting thing that they did there. So standard six, or which is what do they call that now? Grade 8, I think it is these days. They've changed it. In
Mhm.
South Africa, it was standard 6 and matric. So now it's grade 8 to grade 12. So that section there, all the kids in the class, in the school, at the beginning of the year to sign up and fill in these little forms
Very
on
nice.
your goals for the year. And one of the things we did at school was what was known as the Thomas More Long Walk, or the Thomas Moreathon, as some guys used to call it. Now, that was an 80-kilometer walk, run, whichever way you guys are. So it's 50 miles. It goes way back, the history of it. And everyone at school had to start that. You could walk up the school driveway and finish after 100 meters, or you could go all the way and do the full 80 kilometers. Now, whether you were a little guy or everybody had to start, that was compulsory. And you could just pull out anytime you wanted to. Now, I did all of those when I was at school. And then it came to you guys, and they'd kind of changed the format a bit by the time you guys got to school. So the little pickies, the little guys, because they had junior school then as well, they could do 25Ks or 40Ks, I think it was. There were a range of distances. And what was the first distance that you completed, and how old were you there, Michaela?
That was the 25. I actually remember distinctly that we did it together and you walked with me. And that must have been, I don't know how old, but junior school, like a little laddie. And
Yeah.
I remember it being so challenging. And I think of it now in hindsight. You must have been like, this is a walk in the park. You got this little guy walking next to you, marching 25 kilometers, and it takes you all day. Um, And that was the first one. I think Mom walked with us actually as well for that 25.
I
And
think she did,
then,
yeah. I think she
yeah,
did. You know, that 25Ks, if I remember correctly, I might be wrong, but you were somewhere around the age of 10, maybe 12, something like that, you know. That's still quite formidable for someone who specifically is not an athlete or, you know, always involved in sport and good at it. So you progressed from there and you eventually did the 80-kilometer walk, didn't you?
yes. So I think from grade 8, so high school, you start doing the 55 if you're not ready for 80. And I think I did the 55 3 years in a row. And then I went for the 80. And again, another like lesson in life, I suppose. I was really sick leading up to that long walk. And I'd been on antibiotics, and I think I had a bit of a kidney thing happening. And I decided to start, and I made it probably not very far, maybe not even 20 kilometers. And I just decided I really can't do it. I feel really unwell, and I never finished. But that only made me stronger. The next day, I was like, well, I'm in, I think it was grade 11 or matric now. I don't have much time left. I've been to Thomas More. It's a tradition. I have to do it. And we did, hey? All the girls did it. You did it.
I remember your determination to do it, and I remember your disappointment in not being able to do it that time. But you're absolutely right. It's a massive lesson in life. You know, people look at world class champion triathletes or 100-meter sprinters at the Olympic Games, and they just think those guys turn up and run. They People don't really appreciate the amount of work or the amount of failures or the amount of breakdowns they had on that journey. And I think that's like quite an important lesson. And you've just got to keep getting up, and you've got to keep going and try again and put that one foot in front of the other. Now, I think quite an important aspect of that is the support group around you. Now, okay, you got a madman for a dad who just is always got to go and do something, right? And will always keep pushing you, hopefully in a nice way and not in an abusive bully kind of way. But we'll get you across the line, you know. But I think I kind of lost my train of thought there now. But I think um, mindset and sorry, yeah, that support group around you is very important. And I always, our friend David Goggins, that we always refer to, because as everyone probably knows by now, I'm a great fan of his, you know, and he always talks about having the right people in your foxhole. Now that's a military term, right? So if you're going to go into battle, you want to know that the guys around you in your foxhole are the men you can rely on and depend on. They're going to look after you, get your back, and vice versa, you know. So that foxhole for you included myself, your mother, your sister, and of course your friends, and then all the supporters from the school. And absolutely, that is a massive contributing factor to get you going where you need to go, you know. So I remember it was tough, the 80Ks. It was a horrible day. It was wet. It was slippery in a lot of the places. But we got through it. And I remember I struggled. I walked that with you, and I hadn't done them. And even me, as a seasoned ultra distance athlete, struggled with that 80K walk. I almost think the walk is probably a bit harder than the run, you know. It kind of takes you a bit longer. But yeah, it was a very proud day for me to see my kids also do something that I'd done at school all those years ago, you know. So that's a good starting point. And I think that kind of planted something in your mind that gave you that little edge. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to start working and polishing, and we'll get back to where you progress from there. So Celeste, your school with I think, as you were saying, I think, and this is quite interesting because there's like two different paths here now, and then you guys have come back together, and then you had this influence from Michaela and others, and it's dragged you into something that you thought you couldn't or wouldn't do, but that you're actually starting to quite enjoy now. But just out of interest, is there anything similar in your life, even if it's like a 5K park run or whatever the case was, that you experienced that anywhere that, other than being influenced, say, for example, by Michaela or friends to go and do something outside of your comfort zone? Did you have any experience in your school life or childhood or up until then that you found yourself in a position where, like, I can't do this, I don't want to do this, but someone, your dad or someone, said, hey, man, you can do this? And it doesn't matter, because I always say one man's 5K park runs, another one's full distance Ironman race. It's all relative. So, you know, we shouldn't be intimidating ourselves with a guy who walked 80Ks or did a full Ironman. Do you have any experience like that in your life that kind of made you think or change your direction?
So kind of like similar situation to Michaela. I did dabble in all sports. When I was at school, my dad always encouraged us to play tennis, hockey, netball, soccer, golf, all of it. I have done all of it. I can confirm I am not good at most of it. The one that I did stick with was hockey because I was quite good at hockey. I played first team hockey before I even went to high school. Um, and yeah, so that as a whole was a very hard thing for me to let go of when I did move schools, and that was not part of my life anymore. And I started like looking at different avenues of like what I enjoyed. And to be honest, I was just at a point where did not have any love for sport or fitness at all. And after I left school, as one does, goes to the gym, goes to whatever local, normal, traditional gym. And I used to tell my husband, now husband, that I hate it so much. And I don't know how people can find it enjoyable to do exercise. Like, I just don't enjoy it. Then I think it was last year, around about this time, I set a goal for myself and I said, that's one thing that I have been saying that I want to focus on. And I was like, I'm going to do CrossFit. I went for the intro to like see what it's like. I was so stiff from a 5-minute workout that I didn't walk for 3 days. And Pierre laughed at me and he said, you are never going to do CrossFit. And I said to him, I will. I will do it and I will go. And I booked for the first class. I mean, I roped him into the start. And then when I had to go for the first class, it was just me and myself and I. And I sat in the car and I remember phoning my mom saying, like, I can't get out of the car. Like, I'm so anxious, I can't do it. And she said, no, I'll be fine. And I said, you don't understand, I can't get out of the car. Like, I'm so scared to go in there. I know that I am not fit. I am not the perfect weight. Like, there's nothing about me that fits into this gym. But I have signed up and I still have like an inkling that I just need to go inside, but I can't do it. Let alone, I eventually got out the car after I had a bit of a tea in the car and I went inside and I was very intimidated. I will not lie. It's nothing like a traditional gym. Most of the people there can do crazy things. And I went inside and after the workout, I was like, I did it. Like, I did hard things. And I think it just grew from there. Like, I fell in love with CrossFit. I love going to CrossFit. Like every single day, I'm like, oh, where do I fit in my CrossFit session? And I think after that, it grew, like my love for fitness grew more. And I was like, I said to Michaela, and we were like, okay, we're going to start running because we want to do Hyrox. So I started running and I did my first 10K. Well, my first race ever was a 10K with Michaela. And if it wasn't for her, I don't know how I would have gotten over that line. But I did it. And it was such a good time. I surprised myself so much. I was like, wow, like I can do really hard things. So, like, through my childhood, I didn't really have that much, except for, like, I mean, we did hard things. My dad was very into bikes and he kind of pushed us to ride bikes, even though I was terrified because it's similar to a bicycle. The two-wheel thing is not for me.
You mean
And
motorcycles?
yeah, motorcycles,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
off-road motorcycles.
yeah.
And we did it. He made me go through the sand. I cried going through the sand pit, but I did it. And he made us jump the tabletops. We did it. I cried through it, but I did it. So there were many in tears when it came to like my fitness journey. But I've done hard things and I've overcome them. And yeah,
That's
proud of where
amazing,
I am.
Celeste. You know what? I tell you, and I say honestly, hand on heart, I think you're amazing. I really do. Uh, I get why you and Michaela have hooked up because you're both stroppy birds, right? And you actually you don't give a shit, and that's why you know there's a few things there. One, the fact that you guys are doing hard things, and there's one quote that I saw somewhere, and I'm stealing it from someone, but be the reason your kids do hard things. And now when you guys get to that stage, if you ever get to that stage, remember that. And it's not about forcing kids to do things they don't want. I'm coaching a guy now whose young kids have been watching him and they're just absolutely gobsmacked by it all. So when he gets on his trainer, this little kid rides on his little plastic bike. The dad picks it up so the wheel's off the ground, and they train together. They do all their strength and conditioning. He came and knocked on my door 3 days ago. I heard this little knock because he lives just down the road. And I opened the door, and this little guy standing there with his dad, and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, Rob." He said, "Hugo just wanted to come and show you." And this little kid had these 2 little gold medals around his neck. And he had been to a 10K, 5K park run with his dad. And he did the kiddies park run. I think it was 2 or 5Ks. And he was just absolutely over the moon about it. But the first person he wanted to go and show his medals to was the guy next door who's coaching his dad. And every time I'm over there or chatting with his dad or helping him set up on his bike or doing some coaching, he's listening. I mean, he's a little guy. He's 6 years old now, 5 or 6 years old now. And he's just wide-eyed and he's staring at it. And to be honest, he's one of those ADHD naughty little shits, always making a noise and charging. Ah! And I said to Mike, I said, "Hey, man, this little guy has got so much energy. This guy's going to be phenomenal if you get him into sport." And his dad wants to get him into sport. And he's absolutely hooked. And it actually comes back to that, be the reason your kids do hard things. So it's leading by example. So both of you have got parents or a parent who just went out and did things and didn't say, "Hey, you guys have got to do this, do that." You think, "Hey, that might be quite cool. Let me have a go at that." And you get the right sort of inspiration and you have a little go. And the second most important aspect that you touched on, and it came up with Michaela's as well, is people are quite often far too intimidated and they're far too worried and concerned about what everyone else is doing and what everyone else thinks. Now, I've not gone to public gyms for a very long time. I don't have the patience for them. I don't have the patience for most people in them, and I just prefer to do my own thing. But in the gyms nowadays, everyone is so focused on where they're going to put their phone up and their cameras up to get the best shot of them doing an exercise to upload to social media and all look the part, right? You can actually buy little gadgets online that clip onto all these bars and things now, specifically made for gyms, so you can get the best social media shot. Absolute bollocks. But those people are so busy watching themselves and trying to look good. They couldn't give a shit what else is happening in the gym. None of them would be able to tell you what you were wearing when you came in, how your hair was, what exercises you did. Those guys and gals that sit around the gym ogling everybody else and have got a lot to say are the haters and the naysayers, and they're just a waste of fucking space and a waste of time. And the key is to absolutely just blind those guys out of your life. You don't need them. The rest of them aren't looking at you. No one's looking at you. They're all too busy about what they look like and how they're doing and what people are thinking about them. So we've got to get that mindset out. And then you absolutely get stuck and you have a go. And you've got that ability, Celeste and Michaela, to sit yourself down, have a little tear, give yourself a good talking to, and say to yourself, myself, get out the car and go push some shit around in the gym, all right? And not everybody's got that ability. Well, everybody's got the ability to do it, but it's the catalyst to make the start that not everybody's got. And that's my passion about something like this podcast and about speaking to guys like you, because we need to encourage those people to find that spark and to find that catalyst that'll give them the courage to have a go. And I think one of the best tools for that is a buddy and accountability, right? So you guys kind of hooked up, and Celeste was like, "This Michaela chick's mad. She's doing all this shit, probably because her dad, oh, geez, I've met the dad now. Okay, now I get it, But absolutely, you both influenced each other, and you guys have got such a rare and amazing friendship from my perspective anyway, from what I've seen. I've known you guys for a few years now. And when I say it's a family affair today, Celeste, you're as good as part of the family anyway, because you guys have been that close. It's just like another little orphan part of the family, I know you got your own parents, you're not an orphan, but you're one of ours, And I know it's something I want to touch on now. So, Michaela, let's go back to after school now. You were, when you started varsity, the first couple of years, I think all of it, but you kind of get on top of it in the end. But it's really hectic, and time is premium. And I never nag you guys, but I'm always like, "Hey, man, you got to look after your health, Because whether you're working in an office job or high end, or you're studying at university, or even at school, if you don't give your brain a break, and if you don't look after your health, you're going to suffer in all those aspects. You've got to get out there. Even if it's 20 or 30 minutes a day, you've got to get out there and do something. And I always say, okay, I'm getting sick now. I've got the flu bug. Okay, your immunity's down. You need to get outside. You need the fresh air. You need to get those endorphins flowing, etc. And once you start that, what you were saying there, Celeste, is, hell, I actually quite like this thing. That is key as well, because there's the main reason that you like that is the least known or likely reason, if for want of a better phrase, but it's your own natural endorphins. Your body actually becomes addicted to that stuff. Like, people start running, they hate getting up in the morning. But once you go running and you run every day or every couple of days or for the week or whatever, if you suddenly stop, you start thinking, shit, I don't feel well today. What's going on? I'm frustrated. I'm annoyed. Your body's like, hey, man, I need that fix. And you've got to get out there. So when people tell me you don't have time, you've got to make time. Anybody and everybody can make 30 minutes at least 3 times a week. And that's all you need, right? So it comes back to taking that first step, right? Eating that elephant one bite at a time. So you got in there and you did that first 5 or 10 minute session, and you could hardly move the next day. Now, from that, you realize, oh shit, I'm really far behind. I'm only in my 20s. That's unacceptable. I need to get my shit together, and I need to take better care of myself, because if I take better care of myself, I'm better health-wise, mentally, physically, all that kind of stuff. And that's going to influence and affect everyone around you as well, you know. So that got you involved in the CrossFit. Now, CrossFit's hardcore, man. CrossFit is hardcore. So I know we're going to jump ahead a bit now, but the two of you just recently did a CrossFit. Tell me all about that. How did that come about? Who influenced who? Who bullied who into doing what? Tell us that whole little journey from going from 0 to CrossFit and outcome.
So let's go pre that. So end of 2024. Okay, so we've been studying, not active. It's like you were saying about time and everything. Just no physical activity. Maybe a 1-2 gym here and there, not even. Okay. Putting on a few chunkies, just not active at all. And that takes a strain mentally and physically. Then it was holidays, great. And the first catalyst of that was actually Cam. So my sister, she had seen 75 Hard on social media, and she decided this is something that she's going to do, told me about it, and I was like, sure, why not? Let's do it together and we'll hold each other accountable. So 1st of February came last year, and we started that. For those who don't know, I suppose, 75 days of doing 2 workouts a day. One has to be outdoors, they're 45 minutes. You've got to drink 3.8 liters of water. You've got to read a self-help book, no cheat meals, no alcohol. I did no sugar as well. What am I missing? I think that's about it. A check-in picture, all that kind of stuff. And I was just feeling like down and out, and I needed to make a drastic change. You know, you just feel like everything is against you. And I was like, this is the kickstart that I need. And it was great. I had the same as Celeste. Couldn't walk after one gym session. The whole week, you're like, I can't sit down. I can't do anything. But there's no space to stop and feel pain. You just have to keep going. And then you realize movement is medicine, and you just go and go and go. And then after 30 days in, you start to see changes because it's very slow. And then you're like, damn, I have more energy. I feel good. I'm looking good. My skin is glowing. Like, you know, let's do it. And then obviously at the same time, Celeste was starting CrossFit, going through that whole same process of pain, but I can do this. And also, I assume taking time, you start to see the change. You get stronger.
I think for me, before I even saw any changes, I felt changes. Was like, I could see my weight progress. Like, even though that's never something that I focused on, I was just like, wow, my body like is a lot stronger than I think it is. And I can, like, I'm progressing so quickly, and like the movements came quite naturally to me. Whereas like for some other people, they've been there for years and they still struggle with the movement standards. It came quite naturally to me. Even though, my goal was literally just to make sure that my amount of sessions that were paid for the month, that I will not waste my money and that I will go to all those sessions. And I did.
You did.
Yeah, I want to jump in there quickly as well. So that's really good. It's commitment. And I'm the same. I like, as disciplined as I normally am, if I haven't actually signed up and paid for an Ironman race, it's that much easier not to get out of bed and go train. Once I've paid the money, wild horses can't drag me away from that shit. I'm up and I'm out and I'm there, I'm doing it. So it's making the commitment and getting stuck in. And while we're on the 75 hard, I'm going to actually, when we air this episode, I'm going to put down in the show notes, I'm going to put a link to that 75 hard. Was there a cost involved with that 75 hard?
There doesn't have to be a cost. I personally downloaded the original 75 hard app. I think it was like a once-off fee, maybe 200 Rand. It's not
Yeah,
that
it wasn't much at all. Hey, like 200 Rand's like 10 quid, thereabouts. So it's for less than 10 quid. And it's absolutely, well, it's priceless when it comes to your health and your motivation and all that kind of thing. So I'm going to put that one in the show notes for people to click on as well, because I think that's a fantastic way. There's Couch to 5K, and it's kind of like an extended version of the Couch to 5K, because a lot of people Cam, your sister started with a Couch to 5K. And then she knocked that out quite quickly, and that's walking, and eventually it gets you to 5Ks over a period of time within your ability. And then from there, she was like, ooh, this one looks quite good, 75 hard, which, as you say, is a 75 days, and it's multiple different tasks that you have to carry out each day, which include reading books, exercise, no TV, all that kind of stuff. And I think it's brilliant, because I've seen a handful of people do it now, and it's absolutely kickstarted them into finding more and more and newer challenging things to do, and it's just elevated their lives completely. So 75 hard, I'm going to write that down and remember to put it in the show notes. Carry on from there. 75 hard. So you guys got stuck into that.
Yeah, I just want to touch on that quickly while you're there.
Go.
Is that the biggest misconception with 75 hard is that it's not a fitness challenge. So jumping ahead, some of our friends did it again now, talking about being inspirational and all that. And the biggest thing they said, because everyone's like, wow, like, what are you doing? You've lost weight, you look amazing. How are you keeping up with all this fitness? And the biggest thing is that it's not that. It's purely a discipline challenge. Your exercises don't have to be CrossFit 7 days a week, twice a day. You need to do mobility. You need to just walk outside and listen to the birds, And even if for 75 days all you did was walk, that is okay. But you had the discipline to do it every single day. And it's not hard. You'll do like day 1, day 2. You'll be like, oh, that's easy. It's not hard to do. The challenge is being disciplined enough to go the 75 days. And once you know that you can do that, I think that was the shift, that you can actually do anything you set your mind to. Going back now, we started that. So we were both on the exercise train, but doing very different things. Celeste was very focused on like CrossFit, which is a lot of functional movements, a lot of weights. I was doing some grid classes at the gym, so also like a functional training, some plyometrics, trying to get into running as well. I got some shoes for my birthday, so that was March. I don't know if I had a broken toe then. No, that was the year before.
Yeah.
And yeah, just started doing that. And shortly after, Celeste was actually the Delulu one that brought it up. She's like, you know what? I've seen this on Instagram. Hyrox.
We can do it.
Oh, okay.
I told Michaela, it's fun. We'll train for it. Like, I'm not worried about anything. And we can train for the running. We will be fine. And she says to me, no, there is no way that we can do that. I said, we can do it. It's fine. We will do it. So here we are, two delusional girls. We were like, we don't know how we're getting to said Hyrox because they do not come to Durban. We are on a student budget, but we will do it. We will train and we will go and we will do this because we put it on a list of things that we want to tick off. Yeah. So from there, we were like, okay, well, we're going to run train then. And I said to her, oh, this is going to be the worst for me because I absolutely hate running. Like, if ever you ask me, what do I hate? Running and riding a bicycle. Yet here we are. So I think we signed up for a 10K.
Well, now if we go along the timeline, when did we start Hyrox training?
We did start before that, yeah.
May? Yeah. So then at this point, Celeste is spending all her money on CrossFit classes. I'm spending all my money on my gym contract. And we thought, how are we going to train together for Hyrox with this budget? So we found, actually through Celeste CrossFit Gym, they also have like a Hyrox side, which is built now. But last year I'd say it was quite new, quite evolving for them.
Yeah.
And so we went just once a week, like our $100. We were like, that's all we have. We can do 4 training sessions a month.
And that is all we can
And that
afford.
is literally all we did. So once a week, we met up and it became the best part of my week. I won't even lie to you. We'd get our cute little outfits going and our little shorts and go. We had a personal trainer, just one-on-one, us two, and he would absolutely abuse us in that class. We would die, heart rates 200 every single time.
That's not good.
It was crazy. We just went balls to the walls.
We really pushed so hard though.
They were really intense sessions, but it was only
Yeah.
once a week.
Mm.
And we started that probably May, and we did that all the way through, and then signed up for our first running race in August. So it was the first weekend in August. We did a 10K. And before then, we hadn't really done much. Maybe a park run?
Yeah, we did a few park runs, and I can't remember, you did as well. Used the runner app.
Yeah, we used the runner app, so similar
to help us train a little bit.
The Couch to 5K.
Just to help with what do you train on which day? Like, how do you do which runs? I mean, running as I knew it was just, okay, you go outside and you run. Like, and then I could only run at set pace for like a minute, and then I would be dying and I'd be gasping for air.
Yeah, but walking's also okay. That's another thing I try and get across to people. They all think they're going to run at 5 minutes a kilometer, you know. It's just making a start. And that's what I was going to say about the 75 hard. It's more of a mindset tool. And you get your mindset right. And where you guys went is exactly the kind of influence I want from you guys to the people out there, to say people are too quick to say, I don't have the money and I don't have the time. You guys are students, and you said, okay, listen, we can afford $100, which is 100 Rand again for our international viewers. That's probably like just less than 10 quid, right? 10 pounds, British pounds. But okay, we can only afford one session a week, but we're going to do it, and we're going to do all our own work in between. And you somehow make a plan, because you're not going to compete at Hyrox to be the world champion or to win the thing. You're going to participate. I say people, oh, I'm racing, I'm competing. Forget about racing and competing. You're taking part, and you've got to enjoy it, because like you said, you hated this and you hated that. If you hate something, then you're doing the wrong thing or you're doing it wrong. So you've both found something that you quite enjoy now, and you spur each other on and you get going with it. So to me, that's so important. You have to enjoy it, and you don't have to go hard, and you don't have to go balls to the walls. You've got to be disciplined, you've got to put the work in, and you've got to have fun. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong, you know?
I think that was the biggest shift for us as well, is that when Celeste found like the CrossFit community and we started exercising together for Hyrox and doing our running and stuff, it was always fun. It was never, ugh, I have to go to this session today. You look forward to it. You have friends that do it. Even our runs, we'd be like, right, Saturday, stunning day, 28 degrees. We're going to go for a park run and have a coffee afterwards. It's enjoyable. And our 10K race, although I think we were both a little bit scared for it, we both had never run that distance before. I'd never done a 10K running like that before. And for anybody in Durban that knows that total sports race, I would recommend it. It was so much fun. Everyone's wearing pink. Everyone's dressed up. There's banners. There's parties. There's DJs. There's dancers.
They were unicorns.
They were unicorns on the road.
There was everything. We actually had the most fun that I didn't even think of, like, oh, on kilometer 3. Oh, we have so many to go. We literally just ran and we had so much fun. Every kilometer, I think it was about every kilometer, there was a station of something. Some or other music or someone dancing, performer.
And the crowds carry you, don't you? You kind of float on the energy of the crowd, and you don't feel your legs or anything. You're just giving it horns and off you go.
I mean, you think nearing it was the end of the 10K that you'd be like, everything hurts. It was hurting,
Mm.
And then there were these, like, I remember it so distinctly, these little high five things, but like high up. So you had to run and jump and hit the high five.
Yeah.
There's us running, videoing, jumping in the air. We've almost run 10Ks. What do you mean? But we're just having so much fun.
That's
So
so cool, man. So come back to the Hyrox now. So you guys ended up signing up for this. I don't know. What do they call it? An event or a race or a?
it's a race. So we did
Okay.
the women's doubles. So basically it's 8 stations and 8 1 kilometer loops. You've got to run together and then you can split the stations however you like. So we did that. We ended up driving to Joburg. So now this was in November. So we did our first
Okay.
run in August and then trained a little bit more. And then we had our Hyrox. Both
So that's
very
about a
nervous.
600-kilometer drive, just to put people in the picture. So
Yeah.
you drove a 700K drive from Durban all the way to Joburg, where you'd entered this race, and
Yeah.
on a budget.
Yeah, and
Not
then
just on a
we
budget. We didn't anticipate how expensive the tickets would be for us on our student budget, but let alone we made a plan and we made sure that we paid the tickets. We booked them as they came out because they tend to sell out as they release the tickets. We booked the tickets and we were like, we're going. Like, we will make a plan to get there. We don't know how yet, but we will. And we ended up then seeing that it's more beneficial for us to drive there than to fly there. So we drove 6 hours.
Yeah, I forgot
there.
about that. We were so set. We'd been training since May that when the
And did you
tickets
get
came
there and
out,
stay a night and race the next day? It wasn't all the same day thing, was it?
no, we'll get there. But
Okay. So just quickly about that Hyrox thing now. So I'm not really au fait with it. I'm not much involved with it, and a lot of the people listening or watching won't know either. So you've got 8 stations. My understanding is there's like 8 different physical activities. You push things, you pull things, you throw things, and you.
Yeah, we
But
can
in
run through
between
it.
each of those physical activities, you've got to run a kilometer or something. So you
So
do
it's
one,
a-
then the other, then one, then the other, until it's all finished, and there's a time on it, right?
Yeah.
that's great.
Okay. Carry
So
on.
it's a 1 kilometer run and then a 1 kilometer ski, another 1 kilometer run, then a sled push.
Which was 102 kgs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then it was another kilometer run. Then it was a sled pull.
78 kgs.
Then it was another kilometer run. Then we went on to burpee broad jumps.
Was the burpees.
Then another kilometer run. Then we did, was it No, it was rowing.
Rowing.
And then after rowing, another kilometer run. Then we did lunges, weighted lunges. And then another kilometer run. And then we ended with 100 wobbles.
Stop! I'm exhausted just listening to that. That's just amazing. Looking at you two clowns sitting there. I'll say that with love in my heart. That's just amazing, guys. From nowhere, with like no clue really, you've picked it all up and you've had a go at this. You've made it work on your budget. You've made it work to travel halfway across the country to get there. And so you arrive and tell me all about the event.
All right, so we drove up the day before. We left really early in the morning because we wanted to get to Joburg and acclimatize ourselves and do a shakeout run. So for those who don't know, we live on the coast. It's like 0 sea level altitude.
Yeah.
And when you go to Joburg, it is very thin air, very dry. You feel like you're dying after just walking up a flight of stairs. So we said, no, we have to go and we have to do a shakeout run just to try and get some new red blood cells and have hope for the next day. So we did that. I don't think it was far, maybe 3 or 4K.
Yeah, we didn't run very far, but it was a hard run.
Anyone that's ever done altitude will know that chest burning pain when you.
Well, I think from the altitude point of view, to people all our rugby fans out there who follow the rugby and know about playing the Springboks in Johannesburg or Pretoria at Loftus or Ellis Park, will know that it's always a big point of discussion. Is it's probably the only place in the world where you play rugby at such high altitude. So that kind of puts it a bit into perspective. You guys come from the coast with all your limited knowledge and experience, but with all the will in the world, and you've turned up at high altitude to do your first Hyrox event. Fruitcakes, both of you.
Yep, but it was great. So we did that. We suffered, and then we had a healthy dinner, and we woke up the next morning, and we went really early to the race. Obviously, it's our first one. We had no idea what to expect. So everything went wrong.
As it did.
As it
Everything.
would. So we got there, we registered, we got our little armbands. So we got that the day before.
Yeah, we got that the day before.
We went in.
But then when we went there is when we had all the troubles in the world.
Yeah. So you have to like go through and they give you a race number and a batch start. Then they say, no, you've got to be at the start however many minutes before. And there's a warm-ups like area by the start. So there we are warming up, we're doing our thing. And next thing we go to the start and he's like, no, they've already started. So we missed our start completely.
After we have already taken our nutrition to start this race, we have warmed up, we are warm, we have had creams and whatnot put on all our aches and pains, and we were ready to go, and he tells us, no, he cannot let us start late. Then they will disqualify us.
So we had to go and re-register for a later start time. Luckily, we weren't the only two idiots who did that. There was another pair of girls that were in the same boat. And they were also like, we've taken all of our like pre-workout stuff and our pre-race bars, and now we're sitting here ready to go, and we have to sit for another hour to 90 minutes to race. So that was the first problem. Anyway, so we do that. We're like, okay, we'll chill, we'll be here, we'll stay warm and just keep active and have another bar later in an hour's time. I think we also went in there not really knowing what to expect time-wise. So it kind of looked only on Instagram, oh yeah, an hour and a half seems doable. That seems about right. It was not. So we prepared our nutrition for an hour and a half of racing, and it ended up taking us like 2 hours and a bit. We ran out of nutrition. Celeste had one of the worst calf cramps I've ever seen in my life.
I cramped 3 times after having a cramp gel. You can't take anything from the spectators, so you're not allowed to take an extra cramp gel, an extra gel from anyone there watching you. You are just there on your own. And the first cramp was fine. It was a little one. Michaela ran and she looked back and I was a little bit behind her and she saw us stopped and she was like, no, don't stop. And I was like, I'm cramping. So anyway, I rubbed it out and I continued running. I ran through an Achilles cramp. And then I think my body was just like, you are not listening and we will show you. So I had a calf cramp that literally divided my calf into half. To the point where Michaela turned back and she was like, no, we are on the last round. You will keep running. And I gave her a look. If looks could kill, she would have been dead right now. I was not having it. I was almost in tears. Shame she came. She tried to like help me. We couldn't even get the cramp to release. When it did release, I just moved my foot and the cramp was back. So there we were, no medics, no one helping us, trying to remove this cramp so that we can finish our race. We were literally half a lap from finishing our last run and war balls, and I had this horrible cramp. But we did get it to release eventually after we stood there for a solid 12 minutes, probably.
Probably 12 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
you know what? I want to jump in there quickly as well, because that's just incredible resilience. Hey, you guys have spent the money, but you're there inspiring each other. If you had been on your own, you might have said, okay. And if it had been the other way around, you would have been the same. You're like, come on, Mix, we're going to go, we're going to do this. So that accountability and that support, that same person in your foxhole is just absolutely paramount. You didn't care about how long it was going to take. At the end of the day, you guys still finished it. And it hurt at the time, but you had fun and you enjoyed it. Did you not enjoy it? You hated it? You're never going to do that again? Or were you like, shit, that was amazing. We learned some hard lessons. The next one, we're going to get all of this shit right. And we're going to go again.
Yep, exactly that. Yeah, I don't know. I think every race we've ever done together, I always think Celeste is going to hate me for the rest of my life. I'm like this motivational Mandy that comes out of nowhere, but in the worst way possible. It'll always start out like, you've got this, bestie girl, like, just keep going. And then I'll be like, absolutely not. We did not train this hard to walk at this moment. You will not walk. Why am I seeing you walking? And she looks at me like she wants to murder me. And I'm like, it's fine. We're not walking here.
Yeah,
It's
sounds
fine.
like you would have made a good drill sergeant in the army. That's
It
already good.
happens
But
every
there's also
single
something I wanted to
race.
touch on there. Sorry to cut you in again, but you guys said you stopped and you stood around for about 12 minutes. And this is another thing I say to people, especially with, I mean, I've had this experience in an Ironman race. It was 70.3 race I did down in Cape Town a number of years ago, where I came out the water. It was a very cold swim. Number of reasons. Anyway, I got on the bike. As soon as I got on the bike, my legs cramped up so much that I actually fell off the bike. Boom, fainting goat style. And I ended up at the side of the road, sitting there for 30 to 40 minutes, just trying to get rid of the cramp, ease it up again, tried to get back on the bike road, seized up again, fell over again. And then I thought, okay, just sit there. And I always say to people, rather than give up, just stop, just pause, breathe, think about it, rub, drink something, eat something, meditate on it, and then just start easy, just walk. Because I said to myself, well, look, I've still got all the time. I'm not going to do well in this race now, but I've still got all the time in the world. I'm going to make the cutoff, even if I walk this or push my bike. I'm going to make the cutoff time, and I'm just happy to finish because I'm in a mess now. I'm not going to try and win this race anymore. I'm just going to try and finish this race. And amazingly, you get that second win. And I honestly believe a lot of it's mindset. Your mindset will fix those injuries to a large degree because you can heal your body with your mind. I believe that. And not to blow smoke up anywhere, but I actually ended up, surprisingly, I didn't even know, I heard them calling my name. I came second in that race in my age group. So you just never know. At one point, you want to give up. Why am I doing this? I'm never doing this again. But you sat down for those 12 minutes and you got going, and the end result and just everything you got from doing that event, hey, it's priceless. It's with you for life, and it gives you that edge and that experience. When that happens to you again, you go, I've been here before. I've dealt with this pain. Sit down, relax, chill, have something to drink. It's all physiology. It'll come right. And you work through it instead of the boohoo drama and break away. And again, from you guys who, with respect, are amateurs at all of this stuff, you're discovering these things on your own. And that's why I wanted you here, because there are millions like you guys out there that are kind of on the fence. But after listening to this, they're going to be, okay, I'm going to go and do this thing. All right, so I want to get away from the Hyrox thing. You guys finished that all up. Triathlon. How many
Well, I
triathlons
think
have you done now, Michaela?
that's where it started. After that, except that I broke my toe the morning after the Hyrox in the hotel room of all places, and I was out of running for 4 weeks because I broke my toe and I couldn't walk on my foot. We said, Michaela looked at me and she just said, let's do a triathlon next year. And I said, what? She said, let's do the half Ironman. I want to do it. Will you do it with me? And I looked at her and I was like, yeah, sure. Why not? What's the worst that can happen? I was like, I don't have a bicycle. I am petrified of bicycles. I can vaguely run now. I mean, I'm okay with swimming in the ocean, but I've never swam like competitively in the ocean. And I was like, sure, what's the worst gonna happen? At least we can train. We live here. It's fun. And I think that's where it started.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
so
was
that's now you guys are talking about doing the 70.3 in Durban this year. Right.
Yes.
But before that, Michaela, I think you were the first out of the two of you to do a triathlon, wasn't it?
Yeah.
yes.
So when was your first, briefly, and how many have you done now?
My first one was in 2020, just before the whole COVID scenario. It was a sprint distance race in Durban. And then I didn't do anything, obviously. There was another small one during COVID, actually, so that's two. And then maybe one or two more sprints after that, but I've never done anything longer
Okay,
than
so
a
you've done a
sprinter.
handful of sprint triathlons, right? And after the first one you did there, because you as well, not a great cyclist, not a great swimmer, very average runner, but you got through it, and your times were actually pretty good for your age group and that as well, and for a first timer. And you've now, probably with a bit of influence from all the racing and stuff I've done, and I'm coaching and that kind of thing. So there's a bit of drive there, but you've now signed up for the 70.3, or you're about to sign up for the 70.3 in Durban.
About to sign up for it. And I think we just have like that race bug as well. So we just sign up for everything now. We were supposed to do the Tin Man, so that's a local triathlon by us. We're supposed to do it together last month.
Yeah.
I ended up having to go to work, so I couldn't. So I roped Celeste in, and then Celeste roped her husband in, and they did it together. And that was
Oh, okay. So that's it. That's where
Yeah.
I got mixed up. I thought you guys did it together, but Celeste, you went on and did your first triathlon,
Yeah.
and you did it with your husband Pierre.
Well, I didn't do it with him. He did the challenge distance. He was very
Okay.
brave, and he did the challenge distance. I did the sprint distance. So it was really out of my comfort zone. One, I had to do it really all by myself. And two, this was the first time that I was doing a triathlon as a whole. And I was still very scared of being on the bicycle. I only drove my bicycle like a handful of times outside before I did that sprint
I
distance.
think you'd only cleated once as well before that race.
Yeah.
So this just remind me now, because I remember I got involved in helping you guys find a bicycle. Is that the same bicycle? That's the one and only bicycle, right? So you'd never ridden
Yep.
a bike like that with gears, and you'd never
Nope.
ridden with cleats. So tell me about your experience with the cleats, and because I know there were lots of falls and lots of bruised bums, and lots of you will get up and do it again. Tell me about the bicycle and how you overcame that, because that's a massive one, especially for a lot of the girls out there. Tell us how you got around it and influence others to get off their asses and have a go.
So after I said to Michaela, it's fine. We can do it. We can do an Ironman, a half Ironman. We can do it. I believe in us. We're strong, and we have time to exercise and to practice for this. We will be fine. I said to her, we just have one problem. I don't have a bicycle. She's like, no, it's fine. We'll find you one. And I was like, I'm still on a student budget. Like, I still study. I don't know how I'm going to afford to buy like this really nice bike. So that's where you come in. You were lifesaver, and I was so thankful that we could find a bike in the UK and bring it back. And I took it to the workshop. They assembled the whole thing. They gave it a good service, great bike, put it all together, and there the bicycle was. And I stared at it for a while, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, because I actually have a fear of getting onto this bicycle, because I have a fear of falling off. And Michaela said, no, we're not going to think about it like that. We're going to put normal pedals on, and you're just going to just pedal on it. And I was like, okay, it's fine, I'll do it. So my husband went with me. We took it up here in the estate onto like a flat surface, and I put my feet up and I started pedaling, and I freaked out a little bit, and I was like, it's fine, I can do it, like I'm doing it. I remember at first I couldn't even turn on the bicycle. I literally stopped the bicycle. I turned the bicycle around, and then I went straight again.
Okay, so absolute basics with you, eh? Absolute basics.
Yep. Like the last time I probably rode a bicycle, I was a child under the age of 10. So nevertheless, I got over it, and I kept riding a little bit with my husband in the estate, and it got better and better, and I was like, okay, I'm feeling more comfortable. And Michaela said, no, let's take it on the road in Durban, on the promenade, like that circuit around the promenade and stuff, and let me teach you the gears, because I was like, I don't know how to change gears, like I don't understand how it works even. So we learn the gears. Here I was, I cycled all before that. Every time I got on the bike, I cycled in that one gear. I never changed gears, let alone Michaela later told me my bike wheel wasn't attached properly, and my bike brakes at the front were never clipped. So there I was pulling brakes for dear life, and
No
it was
brakes.
never braking.
We get out the car at the beachfront, and I'm like putting the wheel and everything on, and I'm like, the brakes are open. She's like, oh, that's why it was so hard to brake. That's why my hands are so sore.
So I've learned a lot. Nevertheless, we went and I practiced all my gears, and we were like, okay, next step is I'm gonna buy cleats. Like I've only ridden this bicycle maybe 5 times, but if I want to do the Tin Man and I want to do the sprint distance, I must do it with cleats. So got the cleat clips and put the pedals on, and I bought some cleats. And Michaela and I are like, okay, we only have one chance to practice this cleat thing before this race. And we have like a Sunday cycle that they have here in Durban, where they closed the highway for us to cycle on the highway. So it's a big long loop. And I think the furthest that I've cycled before that was 20 kilometers. And we were like, okay, I'm going to do it. So Michaela shows me how to cleat into these pedals, and we're in a parking lot. I cleat in. It's fine. I go, uncleat. I stop. Perfectly fine. And I'm so stoked. I'm like, look at that. I didn't even fall. I try and cleat back into. I cleated one foot, and I was trying to cleat the other foot, and I made a rookie error of looking at the pedals and not looking where I was going. And I fell into the front of a car. Like a still standing car. Shame. I fell on this guy's car.
I'm sorry to laugh.
Off my bicycle. No, it's fine. I also laugh at myself now. Off my bicycle. There I am, roasties. The first thing going through my head is, my cycling pants were so expensive. Are they broken? Like, did I tear them? Because I would actually just have a heart attack. I don't even care about my roasties. I just need my cycling pants to be whole. But I got up and I went again and I fell off again like a fainting goat. Quite literally, I was uncleated even, but I leaned the wrong way. And then there I was, falling over again. So after that, I did manage to go and do the cycle with my cleats on, and we cycled, 56 kilometers?
Yeah, we did.
Wow,
So
that's
bearing in
amazing.
mind-
I want to just jump in there quickly as well. Michaela started like that. And her knowledge has then been passed on to you, and you will do the same down the line. And again, it just comes back to that foxhole thing. Everybody's got to start somewhere, and people are daunted by that, so they don't want to do it in the first place. But you get stuck in and you persevere, you've signed up for the race, and you're going to get on. And now, before we move on to the next point, I just want to take a quick break with you guys. I'm just going to pause everything and we'll come back in a second. We'll chat to you shortly. So, Celeste, we were just talking about all your bicycle experiences, and you're not alone. There are so many people. I mean, one of my podcasts, in fact, there's 2 episodes I've done with Brenda, and she goes into a lot of detail about struggling on her bicycle and things like that. So, Pierre has never done a triathlon before, or had he?
No, it was
Not
his
yet.
first one as well.
Okay.
And he did his triathlon on a mountain bike.
Yeah, yeah, I believe so. And
Yeah.
he's not doing a hell of a lot of sport at the moment.
So basically for him, he played sports in school, which boys do, played most sports, and then he played rugby, but nothing like very competitive, like high end or top end sports or anything like that. After school, he used to gym a bit here and there, and he used to run a little bit when I met him. And then together, really, we didn't really exercise. We had the gym contract that we ended up paying for, as people do, and never used it for years. And he actually, I won't lie, he was part of the motivation for me to start CrossFit as well.
Okay.
He started probably a year before me, about a year before me. And he was like, no, he wants to get a Virgin Active contract because he wants to improve his health. He wants to improve his fitness, and he wants to just live a healthier, more active life. And I said to him, like, I hear you and I respect that. And like, but in all honesty, I'm not getting your average traditional gym contract. I'm not interested in that. I've been down that road one too many times, and it's not for me. And he said, you be you, you do you. And that's what he was going to do. So he started gymming, and he was happy with that. And when Michaela and I when we said to him, like, we are going to do the 70.3 Ironman, he said, oh, that's nice for us. When are we going to train for that? So we said, what do you mean? The 6 months before we do it. And he was like, you guys are crazy.
Yeah.
Celeste can't even ride a bike. And I was like, it's fine. I will be fine. I will learn. So there he was when my ex-boss, actually, when they immigrated back to the US, he said to me, like, here is this really expensive mountain bike I have. You need to throw it away because it's broken. And I said to him, no, but how do you mean it's broken? He said, no, I rode it once, and he did this mountain bike competition or tour, whatever in it, and he buckled the front wheel, so I can just take it to the scrapyard and scrap it. And I was like, okay, like, can I have a look at it? Like, maybe Pierre would want it because you guys are the same size. And he said, yeah, sure, take it if you want to take it. So I took this bike, not knowing what this thing costs. and I had it repaired, cost me a few thousand. And I had it repaired, and Pierre was like, cool, I'm going to start riding this mountain bike. So then with his gymming, he decided, no, he's going to start cycling. He started cycling before I even had my bike. And when we said we're doing this Tin Man, he said he wants to do it too. He's going to do the challenge distance. And we said, wow, that's really brave of you. Also coming from someone that is, okay, he's a very good swimmer because he used to surf since he could walk.
Okay.
But like, he's not a cyclist. He is not a runner at all. And we were like, okay, you do you.
Come along.
Like, if
Yeah.
you...
Can I add in here? I just want to add on that. Pierre is hilarious because he'll always start by saying, no, you guys are crazy. No one's going to do that. And he's always the worst. Like with the cycling, no, you guys are crazy. Like he's not going to cycle. Then he gets the mountain bike. He's cycling every weekend with his friends, going all over the show. But then he's like, no, I'm not cycling in cycling pants. I'll just cycle in normal pants. And we're like, yeah, we told you so. Don't do that. This is why you should have cycling pants. Next thing he gets the cycling pants, he's like, oh, no. Yeah, I see now. That's great. Same with the running. He's like, no, don't run. Then he starts running, but he's running in like
not running shoes,
gym shoes or whatever. And he's like, oh, my feet are so sore. I have blisters. And we're like, Pierre, we love that you're running, but you should run in the right shoes. It'll make a difference.
Yeah.
No, you guys are crazy. I'm just fine. Then he gets the shoes. Now he's running amazing paces. He's enjoying his running. His feet are not sore. And then he goes, no, you guys are insane to do a triathlon. Like crazy. Then he sees Celeste start training and start doing it and cycling and sees, shit, this is possible. And they're doing it and it's quite cool and it's a whole environment to be in. Next thing he's like, no, I'm going to do it too.
You see, it's that
So
whole
it
influence
comes-
thing. You guys have got such a cool little foxhole there that I like to refer back to all the time, you know. So everyone's influencing everyone else, and then you're all holding each other accountable. And it's almost like the one-eyed leading the blind at the moment. But someone's got a bit of knowledge, and you listen and you learn and you look things up. The key is you guys aren't making excuses. That's what I'm trying to get across. You're finding solutions, you know. And there's something I wanted to say earlier on. It's probably an opportune moment now as well. Is that people too easily and too readily say things like, I'm no good at sport. I'm not a good swimmer. I'm a terrible runner. I can't ride a bicycle. Now, it was a famous quote by Bruce Lee, something along the lines of that you shouldn't talk about yourself in that way, not even jokingly, because your body doesn't know the difference. So if you tell yourself, I can't run, or I'm terrible at sport, your body's like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, from now on, we're terrible at sport. So what I try and encourage people to do or to say is, instead of saying, oh, I'm terrible at running, and now telling your body you're terrible at running and you're probably never going to be good at, you should tell yourself that I can be better there at running than I am. So it's not saying I'm a great runner or a great swimmer. I could be much better than I am at running or swimming or cycling. Then your mindset's going in the right direction. Your body's like, oh, okay, well, how do we do that? Well, let's go and do some running. Let's talk to so-and-so. Let's look at an app. Let's get some coaching or whatever the case is. And you go from there. So I just wanted to throw that little nugget in there. So tell me about your race.
So time comes, Michaela left me by myself and I had to suck it up. Given that during this whole process, why I did initially start CrossFit and like why Michaela encouraged me so much is because in a mental health space, I was in a very bad place, to the point where I was chronically depressed and I wasn't getting out of bed. And I had discussed with my therapist and she said to me, like, listen, I know you don't like exercise, but it will be really good for like your mental health and how you feel about yourself, because I also had very, very low self-esteem. And I was like, okay, that's when I started CrossFit. And I've seen like a tremendous change in my mental health and how I feel in my body, like since I started just moving. I don't go to CrossFit every day, but I do just a little mix of everything. And I always try and do something. So came this race and I was quite anxious for the swim. the water was not flat, and I'd only ever practiced in flat water. I didn't have a wetsuit, so I did it without a wetsuit. They also didn't allow the wetsuit for that swim. And I was really anxious that I was going to drown. I don't know why, because I can swim, but I think it's like the fact of the water not being flat made me feel very anxious. So there I was. I went into the water. For the first 5 minutes, I fully did think I was going to drown, but I did indeed not. I kept swimming, and I actually finished my swim in like 19 minutes.
Okay. Wow.
750 meters in 90 minutes.
Okay.
So I was very proud of myself for that. And I got out the water. The swim went well. I had no cramps or anything. And Michaela had helped me to plan like nutrition for the race, which worked amazingly. And we trained with it before. And I got onto my cycle. It was quite a weird sensation for me to be all wet, and now I'm putting on socks and I'm putting on shoes, but the water is dripping down my legs. But it's fine. I think the adrenaline saved me there. And I went on my bike and I started the cycle, and I remember I was petrified because I didn't know the exact route where to go. And I knew there was like places where I didn't know if I had to go over the sidewalk to get onto the road. And I was like, all I just wanted is I wanted to not fall off my bicycle. And I did the cycle, and it was tough. My legs were a bit tired, and I pushed, and I was like, it's feeling very long, but I know I can do it. Nevertheless, I pushed through. I finished the cycle. I didn't fall off my bike once. So I think that was the thing I was most proud of myself for, was not falling off, even though
not drowning and not falling off the bike. So 2 out of 3,
Yeah.
we're on our way.
I cleated and I uncleated. I didn't fall over, and I was quite happy with that. I hung my bike up, and my legs actually felt fine on the run. I ran. I just remember it being very hot. It was really hot because it was much later in the day, and we were still in peak summer. Yeah, it was end of February. Still in peak summer. So, I mean, it was about 31 degrees with like 90% humidity.
Durban
And it was
humidity, that'll get you.
very hot.
Yeah.
Besides that, I still finished in 2 hours and a few minutes, which was still like, I was just worried that I wouldn't finish in the cutoff time. So in that sense, I was very proud of myself, and Michaela was there cheering me on the whole way, taking photos, taking videos, even though I knew she had to literally drive to the airport and get on an aeroplane like an hour after I finished this race. She was
That's what
there
besties are
screaming
for,
at
eh?
me, telling me to keep going, and I don't know how I would have finished that race without her.
So there again is influence. I want to go step back a bit. Now you're standing on the beach and you're about to go in for your swim. It's terrifying, absolutely terrifying. What I say to all the athletes is that is actually, you've got to enjoy that moment. When you do another race, you will. You've just got to absorb that atmosphere, that energy that's there on the beach. Totally access all that adrenaline that's coming through. But once you're in the water and you've made those first couple of strokes, it all just kind of opens up and goes away, doesn't it? Then you get out the water, and all the way through the start and in the water and the swim, the last thing on your mind was, oh, I've got to cycle next. Am I going to fall off the bicycle? You took this next step in front of you. Then, okay, I'm out the water. I've got to run up this beach. Okay, I've got to change. I've got to get the sand out of my toes. Oh, here's the bike now. Now you start thinking about the cleat, but hang on, let's go. And then you tackle the ride. And then the ride's done, and you're like, hey, shit, I didn't fall off. And all the while, your confidence is just growing. Like, hey, I made the swim. I didn't drown. Nothing ate me. Ah, now I can get on my bike. Oh, I didn't fall. I'm still in the race. Oh, let's run. And your energy levels, even though you're getting tired, your psychological energy levels are just going up. And you get through and you finish the race, and no one cares about the time. You weren't there to win it. You know what? You did it in 2 hours and something. That's 2 hours and something quicker than the guy who sat on his couch eating popcorn and watching rubbish on TV. You know what I mean? And that's what people have got to get their heads around. You know what I mean? It's not about the time. You've taken part. And I want to go back to the mental health thing, because it's a topic very close to my heart. I think in a couple of my episodes now, I've mentioned that I'm a sufferer of mental health, and it's something I struggled for many years to talk about, and it's something I talk about more now because it is important to talk about it, because it does help others who are struggling in the same way that these kind of things help people get off their asses and go do races. Now, I medicate for depression, and I have for a number of years now. But what I find is once I've signed up for one of those races and I'm training hard, and I can go off those meds. Now, I'm not suggesting anyone out there start exercising and stop your meds. You do what your doctor tells you. But I can quite easily go off for a month, 2, 3 months at a time, because I'm outside. I'm getting those natural endorphins. Your body's own natural endorphins are the best way to heal yourself and manage yourself than any medication, if you can do that. And again, I'm no doctor, and I'm not suggesting anyone should do that. But absolutely, even alongside, now I take medication still, and I train and exercise. And the two together are just almost unbeatable, you know. Absolutely, it's such a good tool to manage all forms of mental
I
health issues. So,
definitely
man,
agree
I'm
with
so proud
that.
of you for that. And honestly, I want to thank you for having the courage to say that, because people will watch this all over the world, people that you don't know, and people that you do know, and they're going, "Hell, Celeste." It's important to talk about stuff. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for having the courage to speak up about stuff like that, you know. And I think, Celestial story, the two of you there sitting, we can tell 100% you guys are passionate about what you do. You love what you do. You know, you love taking part, because here it is. You're going for the next race now, and you're not trying to get to world champs or win anything. You just want to go take part in a bigger race that's a little bit longer. And you both started couch to 5K, 75 hard. Let's do a little fun sprint. Let's all dress in pink and funny skirts. Let's go take part. Hey, man, this is fun. And our lives are so much better for it. You've influenced your husband. And I can tell you now, not just the three of you, but other people around you are being influenced and watching you. And then you suddenly realize, oh, shit, I can't actually back out now, because everyone can see I'm doing this thing. And I'm kind of almost leading the way here. And people are, wow, you're so amazing. And it just builds your self-esteem, doesn't it?
Yeah, we
So
definitely have
health-wise, sorry,
started the snowball.
apart from the mental health and the psychology of it all, both you guys and Pierre, my side, visually, I can see that you're in better health. Tell me, Mix, what you think. So I know that both of you, and again, with all the love and respect in my heart, both of you have lost a considerable amount of weight. You're
Yeah.
both stronger physically for it, and fitter for it, and happier, and doing better at life. Yes, no, Mix?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's crazy. I mean, can also give you some pictures if you want to edit them in of before and afters. I don't know if Celeste would be comfortable with that, but
Mhm.
it's crazy because you don't necessarily see it. You start to feel it. Like Celeste was saying, you feel stronger.
Yeah.
And then you start to just feel lighter. And then you start to just see like physical improvements that can only come from losing some weight and getting stronger and getting fitter. And then next thing you know, your cute little iPhone does a little throwback pop up from 1 year ago, and you're like, who's that? Moon
Exactly.
emoji over there. And you think you kind of just look the same. Yeah, maybe a little bit slimmer or toner, but much the same, until you look at a photo and you're like, shit, we actually look completely different.
Yep.
And it's not just weight wise, it's like you have this glow, you have this
You've got color in your
energy,
face. You know what I mean?
color in your face,
I'll tell
sun
you
on your
what,
skin.
I believe that most people are visual. And it's very important, and it's totally up to you guys. But those before and afters, especially for guys like you that I call the weekend warriors, the non-seasoned athletes, the guys giving it a go and actually succeeding and achieving and going ahead. Those before and after photos speak 1,000 words to the people now listening to this on the fence, doubting. And I put them up all the time. I collect your video clips and your pictures of your medals and your race day stuff. Anything you're comfortable to give me, I will have my guys edit into this video. And it speaks 1,000 words. So it's totally up to you guys. But I would really love something like that. But as I say, it's totally up to you if you have a before and after picture. But I'm in the business of trying to influence people to get out there and make their lives better, be healthier physically, psychologically, mentally. And the best way to get that story across is to tell your guys' story and all the other amazing people I have on the show. I've had a few celebrity high-end people, but as we were talking about just now when we were on our break, Celeste, to me, it's more important about talking to the everyday people. I don't want to call us average because no one's average. We've all got something special, but I think people know what we're getting at. The weekend warriors, it's not our main hustle. It's something we're doing. And once you've done it, you get all those feelings, you see the results, and you just want to tell everyone else, and you just don't know how to. And I think this is a good medium to do that, And the more we plug away at it, the more everyday kind of weekend warrior people I speak to with great success stories like your guys, where you see massive results, not only in the sport, but in your lives, in your jobs, in people's marriages, in their workplace. It absolutely changes for the better your life. And I have no doubt about it. That's why I'm so passionate about it. I think you probably hear a bit of passion in my voice, is just get going, man. Get going. So now you guys are committed almost. I know it's a student budget thing, but you're almost committed to the 70.3, which is in June.
Yeah, that's in June, so it's a couple months away. We've already signed up for quite a hectic month ahead. In 2 weeks, we have the Orca 25 kilometer. Are you doing that?
Yeah.
25 kilometer run.
Wow.
You see, we're like, are you doing that? Yeah, I'm doing that. That's cool. And then the weekend after that, we are doing a 90 kilometer cycle just in preparation. And then the weekend after that, we've got another 10 man, but we're going to do the challenge distance, which is 1.2 swim, 40 cycle, and
31 cycle.
31 cycle, 10 run.
Okay.
So our April is quite busy, and then May will just be focused on some more like specific stuff, no races. And
Are you guys using like a training app or any sort of coaching advice? I mean, apart from advice that you guys get from me, how have you set up your training program to make sure you're not doing too much or too little and you're getting enough recovery time? Tell us a little bit about that for the guys out there who don't know where to start. Because I know not everyone can afford a coach. It is always a good way to go, or at least get some sort of guidance or have some kind of training program. So what's your guys' plan? Suck
at
it
the
and see?
moment, hey?
Suck it and see? No?
No, what? What's
Just
this?
wing it?
Oh, no, we're not winging it. Well, at the
Okay.
moment, I think we're winging it a little bit.
Just a little.
But we are following the Triathlon app, which
Okay.
is actually really great. As I said, I've been bad with it lately, and there's been a lot of shuffling around. So you see your program for the week, and you're like, I don't want to swim today. The weather's miserable. So you swap your run for a swim or something like that. But it's really nice to be able to do it. And then for those that don't know, it's an app on your phone. It's AI calculated, so it picks up when you've worked out, how many times you should work out, if you've done
It's
a
a
hard
very good
workout,
platform, and
spaces
I've covered it quite a few times on my other episodes, and it is something I use and something I coach my athletes through as well. It is really, really good. If the guys can't afford coaches, that is a really good. I think at the entry level one, you can coach yourself for one race for about what is it, 200 rand a month or something like that. I think it's about £15, which is 300 rand a month, which is really not bad, And then also talking about the race, you guys are all geared up for race now anyway. But another big excuse that people always have is I don't have the equipment and I can't afford the equipment. And I always say the first 2 or 3 races I ever did, I did on a borrowed bicycle. I borrowed a wetsuit, etc., etc. Some guy was throwing away a bicycle and you got it, and people go, I can't do that on a mountain bike. Of course you can do it on a mountain bike. You don't tricycle probably if you wanted to, you know what I mean? There is always a way. And what I like about you two guys is your energy and your resilience and your absolute like defiance. We are going to do this come hell or high water, and we're going to get the gear. We're going to beg, borrow, steal, maybe not steal, but we're going to get this race done, right? And you get your stuff done. So there's no excuse. There's no excuse for time. There's no excuse for money, and there's no excuse for. There is always a way. It's not, can I afford this? It's how can I afford this? And not only financially, but time-wise. So the people who ask themselves the right question. People say, can I afford it? I can't afford it. No. How can I afford it? Again, it's the mindset, the positive aspect. You say, well, how can I afford it? I've got to find a way to afford it. Then the universe throws that in your direction. if you sit there, oh, I'm never going to afford to do one of these. Well, guess what? You're never going to afford to do one of those, you know. But you take the plunge, you put one foot in front of the other, and off you go, you know. So I kind of want to round up with you guys. It's been absolutely amazing having you guys here. I'm going to give you a little shot each to have your little say, anything you want to add on there. But I think specifically in your age group as well, and especially amongst the women as well, because we are getting more and more women in the sport as well, which I think is fantastic. You know, there's quite a big drive for it, and you guys are like little ambassadors for that now. You know, and you're out there now on my podcast for what that's worth. It might go big one day, and people are going to listen to that stuff, and they're going to watch you guys, and they're going to be influenced by you. You know, and that's big. That's important because you're sitting there thinking, oh, we just little old nobodies who just mess around on the weekends, but you're not. Everybody has an impact on something, you know. So I value you guys. I love you guys to bits. You're amazing, and you need to keep doing what you're doing. Celeste, I'm going to start with you. So someone who's sitting, listening, or watching this, or who's been down to a race and they've gone, oh, hell, maybe I should do that. Ah, maybe not. Oh, look at that person. Now, how do they do? If they do it, if they can do it, I can do it. What would your advice be to someone who thinks, oh, I'd love to do that 70.3, but I'll probably never get there? They've got to start somewhere. Give me some words of wisdom just to put you on the spot.
So if there was anyone that ever thought they wouldn't do it, that's definitely me. But here I am. I made a plan to buy a secondhand bicycle. I don't have a tri suit. I did my first sprint try in a costume, and by chance found some tri shorts on special, like 60% off. And I ended up buying those, and I did my whole triathlon on that. Pierre did his triathlon with normal clothes changing in the T1 and T2. I mean, he changed completely from his swimming clothes to normal cycling clothes, from cycling clothes over to running clothes. And he did it on a mountain bike. So I don't believe there's anyone that says that they can't do it, because I don't think it's a can't, it's a don't want to. Or they're not
100%.
willing to put in the effort to try. And like you said before, it's not about winning, it's about doing it and proving to yourself that you can do things that are hard. If this year has not been a display of I'm capable of doing hard things, I don't know what it's.
Oh, that's fantastic, man. What an amazing message. And that pretty much sums up, and that sums you up how I know you, you know, and it only goes from strength. So one, you would highly recommend taking on the hard stuff because the results are priceless and it'll change your life forever. Mix, what you got?
A lot. I think just you've got to, at the end of the day, show up for yourself. No one's going to do it for you. You can have your amazing foxhole and all your people, but you kind of have to make that shift. And yeah, I have a tattoo on my arm that says, "You are your only limit." And I love that because it's a reminder that the sky's not the limit. There's nothing else. It's not pain. It's not a broken foot. It's not, I don't have this, that, or the other, or I'm missing a limb. It's you. You're the only person stopping you from doing something. So I think it's just going out there, doing it. And I think the shift for us has been like, why not? Why can't we do it?
Yeah.
What's stopping us from just going and trying? So that's been really, really great. And that kind of drop in the water effect kind of keeps you going as well. So there's maybe been times after a race where you might feel stagnant. And for both of us now this year, we roped in all of our other friends. So our foxhole's getting even bigger. They did 75 hard. They're coming up now to finish in 2 days' time. Tomorrow, they're going to be finishing that, and their lives have changed. Their bodies have changed as well, their mindsets. And everybody's roped into Hyrox now. So we're going to do a whole girls trip at the end of the year. And now we're taking even more people to go and do Hyrox again for the fun of it. So it's just,
Oh, that's fantastic, guys.
really
You've got to
cool.
stay out there and don't stop doing what you're doing, man. Just keep influencing people. That is absolutely such impressive wisdom from two young ladies, but you're absolutely right. The only person stopping you from doing anything in life is yourself. And you just got to get over that. And I think people are so terrified of failure. What if I enter the race, but I don't finish because my bike breaks, or I don't finish the swim? It doesn't matter. No
My
one
biggest
cares
thing
if
is,
you don't.
but
I can't tell you
what
who
if you
didn't finish
do?
the last race I did. I can't. I can tell you there were did not finishes, but it doesn't matter. You had a go. You still got further than the guy sitting on his couch eating popcorn, watching shit on TV, right? But guess what? You're going to go, and it's the same as your last Hyrox event. You're going to say, okay, we learned some hard lessons. Our nutrition was wrong. We got there late. We need to train a little bit harder, and we need to take some more magnesium for our cramp or whatever the case may be. But you learn a lesson, but you want to go back because you want to fix that, right? So don't ever be afraid of not accomplishing the task, because you won't know if you don't have a go. And if you do have a go and you fail is not the right word. You do have a go, you don't complete the task. Have another go and have another go. It may take 2, 3, 4 times. You know, Olympic gold medalists didn't get it the first time. They didn't even qualify for the Olympics the first time. It's a process, and you've got to work your way through the process. And you only learn how to do what you need to do to get there by making the mistakes and taking the falls and the hits along the way. And absolutely, you're your own worst enemy. Get over yourself. Don't make any excuses. Where there's a will, there's a way, and you will absolutely change not only your life, but everyone else's lives around you. Girls, ladies, thank you so much for being on the show. I think it's going to be a really cool one. I think lots of people are going to gain a hell of a lot from it. I appreciate your time. I know a busy student life, and we've been chasing for a few weeks to try and get you on, and you finally made some time to get there today. So all the best of luck to you guys. We're going to chat again for sure, and I'm going to put lots of interesting links and things up in the show notes when the podcast comes out, and I'll gather that information from you later. And also for the viewers, if anyone wants to get in touch with you and have a chat with you about certain things, maybe if you guys give me like your Instagram links or something like that, your social links, and I'll put them in the show notes as well. Again, totally up to you. And if people want to ask questions or go to the groups that you guys recommend, I'll put them all up there, and people can chase and follow and be influenced by you guys, especially if there's anyone in and around the Durban area, you know. And
Absolutely.
good luck with your studies, guys. I know some of you it's coming to an end. Some of you got a little bit more to go. But hang in there, man, because it's no different to the sport. It might take longer, Celeste, but you'll get there.
Yep.
And you know what? It doesn't matter how long it takes. You'll get there. You know, if that's what you truly want,
Yeah.
you'll get there. I don't know if that's what you want to hear, but that's what you're hearing anyway. You know?
No, I have learned time and everything in my life has taught me that if you just keep going, eventually you will get there, even if it's not in your planned timing.
Brilliant. Guys, once again, love you lots. Thanks a million for being on the show. Really appreciate it. And as I always say, never stop moving. Okay, guys, so that wraps up today's show. Thank you very much for that. And as always, I always forget, like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff, and spread the love, man. Let's spread the word. Let's get everyone out there involved. Let's get everyone off those couches onto those 5Ks. And I always say, all roads lead to Ironman, or all roads lead to triathlon. So get stuck in there. It's going to change your lives, absolutely for sure, or your money back guaranteed. Take care, guys. Stay safe.